Well, first of all, to the students of Mac, I want to say hello and hope that everybody is thriving. Um, I do want to talk briefly about how the nature of work is changing so rapidly, particularly during and post COVID. One of the important things to understand is that the idea of stable jobs and stable careers, which you climb a ladder, is something that is going to be relevant for fewer and fewer people. It's actually a industrial era construct which is fading away. And so, one of the most important things to do is understand this and say, look, as quickly as I am, I want to be self-employed. I want to be able to stand on my own feet, and ideally, I'd like to be an entrepreneur over time, where I'm not only feeding myself, but I'm employing a growing number of people. The other thing to recognize about the changing nature of work is around skills. We're all living much longer. With any luck, many of you will live to be in not just your 80s, but 90s. And therefore, most of us will want to be productive much later. And of course, if you can think about, the decades ahead, think how much the world is going to change. Think how much what our hot skills are going to evolve. So one of the important ideas is to say, look, how am I going to constantly reinvent myself? How am I going to unlearn and learn new skills which are relevant? And it turns out, when you think about skills, two or three are particularly important. One is, rather than the specific skill like game design or visual effects or programming, the underlying skills, one of which is called learning agility, is incredibly important. What learning agility means is, when you're thrown into a situation that you've never encountered, how do you learn to quickly figure things out, adapt, and eventually flourish? Another incredibly important skill for success in the 21st century is an entrepreneurial mindset. Now, whether or not you're going to be an entrepreneur, you still need to have the mindset of one, which means what? Which means being able to see opportunity, which very often comes disguised as a problem. The ability to not just see it, but seize it, act on it, is very important. Another thing that all entrepreneurs do is they don't worry about what resources they have today. They realize it's more important to be resourceful and bootstrap your way to success. A third entrepreneurial quality is problem solving, and related to that is optimism. So this is a critical skill. And the final one would be tenacity, never giving up. So as you can imagine, these skills are not taught in classrooms. They're not taught online. Mostly this learning agility, leadership, soft skills can only be learned experientially. And most importantly, they can be learned by repeatedly taking on new challenges which are outside your comfort zone. So overall, if I were to give any advice, I'd say stop thinking about jobs and careers, think about self-employment, gig economy, and entrepreneurship. I would say go find the intersection of what you're good at and what you love doing and what the world seems to value and appreciate, be willing to pay for. I would say, remember that in the 21st century, things are going to be somewhat less forgiving. So you have to be excellent at whatever you do. And there's less and less space for mediocrity. Again, emphasize the importance of taking on fresh challenges, new challenges, which strengthen all these abilities I have talked about. And finally, be very, very thoughtful about what I call intangible assets. We all know that it's important to save up some money, eventually buy a home, and these savings are what will cushion shocks. But even more important than your financial assets are intangible assets, which are things like your health, your immediate family, close friends, network, reputation, expertise, self-knowledge. And so it's very important to become aware of these things and gradually work on them as well, because this is what will allow you to negotiate and go through many transitions successfully. Let me pause here and wish all of you good luck in all that you choose to do.